There was a man named Ahmed who lived in a small village on the edge of a wide desert. Ahmed was a quiet man who never wanted much. He always dreamed of moving to the city, where he could find a good job and live a comfortable life. But fate had other plans. One day, Ahmed's father became very sick. His father had spent his entire life herding goats in the desert, but now he was too weak to continue. There was no one else to take care of the goats, so Ahmed had to step in. It wasn't what he wanted, but he had no choice. Ahmed woke up early every morning to lead the goats out into the desert. The sun was always hot, and the sand seemed to stretch on forever. The goats were not easy to manage. Some were stubborn and refused to follow him, while others wandered off, forcing Ahmed to chase them. It was hard work, and Ahmed often felt frustrated. He missed the idea of the city. He dreamed of tall buildings, busy streets, and a job that didn't involve chasing goats under the burning sun. But every day, he returned to the same dusty village, the same dry land, and the same herd of goats. As the days passed, Ahmed started to notice the small things in the desert. He saw how the light changed as the sun rose and set, turning the sand from gold to deep red. He noticed the way the wind whispered through the rocks, and how the goats seemed to know where to find patches of grass, even in the middle of nowhere. One evening, as he sat on a rock watching the goats graze, an old man from the village came to visit him. The old man sat beside Ahmed and said, "The desert teaches patience. It's a harsh place, but if you listen, you will learn." Ahmed didn't say much. He didn't know what the old man meant, but he nodded politely. Over time, Ahmed began to understand. The desert was quiet, but it had its own kind of beauty. The goats, though troublesome, were not so bad. They depended on him, and he learned to care for them in a way he hadn't before. One day, after many months, Ahmed realized that he no longer thought about the city. The desert had become his home, and the goats were his companions. The hard work that once felt like a burden now felt like a part of his life, something that gave him purpose. Ahmed never made it to the city, but he found peace in the desert. He learned that sometimes, the life you were given is better than the one you wanted. And so, Ahmed continued to care for the goats, finding contentment in the quiet of the desert and the simple rhythm of the days.